Hello. Welcome to another episode of the Audio Program Council. I am the Omega Condor. This is Cbass. That's BILTH, and this is JT Barney. Today is the first episode we recorded since the ending of Ashoka. So I figured that would be a good topic to start with.
BILTH, can you shoot us off, please, BILTH, and tell us what you thought of this grand finale of this show that you loved so much?
It was fine. That lightsaber battle was visually cool looking. I like that the lightsaber was a unique version of a lightsaber. And what do you think of it, Cbass?
I love the show as a whole. I actually thought it was a good show. I was very entertained. I was invested. The finale was a bit underwhelming for me. I don't think that finale was meant to have a surprise, because you could see, like, from the beginning what that finale was going to be. Like, it was going to be Thrawn returning to the galaxy, obviously, so I wasn't expecting some big twist. What I'm excited for going forward is when he figures out that Luke is Anakin's son when he comes back to the galaxy, and he figures out that the premier Jedi Master out there is Anakin's offspring. So that's going to be really interesting to see his reaction to that. Yeah, or how he'll be like, because he had that weird reaction with Ahsoka being Anakin's Padawan.
Now, with that being said, do you think that CGI Luke Skywalker will be a big part of the second season?
Recast.
There was like a debate about that on Twitter the other day, where they were taking a poll whether this should be recast with this guy that looks very similar to young Mark Hamill.
Well, I mean, Sebastian Stan is the obvious pick for me, but he looks...
It's another guy that looks even similar.
Oh, okay.
Don't give us Sebastian Stan.
Sebastian Stan was a good pick before, but there's a guy that's even like...
Well, I mean, I think he's a... For me, Sebastian Stan's a good pick because he looks... I mean, like, I clearly... I don't know who you're talking about, Cbass, but he looks enough like Mark Hamill, and also he is the appropriate age, I think.
Yeah. I mean, the resemblance for both of them is uncanny. Like, they both definitely look like young Mark Hamill.
I mean, I don't care about the resemblance so much, but earlier this year, Indiana Jones radicalized me against using AI actors as opposed to real actors.
Me and Michael had a very different reaction to that. I actually thought it was done very well. Michael did not.
it was done well for like an animated movie, but you started The Last Crusade in the exact same way, but you had up-and-coming superstar actor River Phoenix playing the role, and it would have been kind of cool to have a younger actor, and especially that scene in the beginning of Indiana Jones 5, way longer than the beginning of Last Crusade. This scene is like 20 minutes long. It's like the entire opening of the movie.
I definitely think it should have been a lot shorter. That scene was excruciatingly long.
To have the decision to have an AI actor carry all of that weight for the first 20 minutes of setting up the entire plot. Nah, I never want to see that happen again. An AI actor being that integral to the plot just does not work.
Let me preface and say that even though I love the finale of Season 2 for Mando, and I love Luke coming in and doing his thing and taking Grogu out at the end, Baby Yoda, I did not like the CGI on it, and I thought it was not that good, and I thought it was obviously he gave like a very wooden performance because it's AI. But I did gain a lot of hope, I'm not going to lie. I did gain a lot of hope for it when I saw his scenes in Book of Boba Fett were actually really, really good, in my opinion. Like, that was peak AI Luke that I've ever seen, was in those scenes.
It's getting better, but I just don't think that philosophically it should ever, like, that's just not right to me. It shouldn't be
the thing we resort to. It should be the thing, like, if something tragic happens, you have that to fall back onto. It shouldn't ever be your step one.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to allude to. I would prefer, if they recast it, though, to someone that looks like Mark Hamill that does the performance.
Yeah,
because I'd rather watch a good performance than, like, a nostalgic face that isn't giving me any character whatsoever, you know?
Like Indiana Jones 5. And also, he sounds like an 80-year-old man the whole time that he's doing the AI voice of normal Indy.
No, he didn't.
He does sound grizzled.
Yeah, he's like young Indy, and he's like, yeah, let's go. Let's get the Nazis.
I think you are overreacting to that.
Well,
his voice has 5 o'clock shadow.
To be fair, when he was
Yes, Barney.
even back in Raiders of the Lost Ark, he was in his 40s already. So
Yeah.
I mean,
have you seen this scene yet, Condor?
No, I refuse.
It's the very beginning.
I refuse to watch Dial of Destiny. I am just.
Well, there we go.
I'm just not going to watch it because I've only seen Kingdom of the Crystal Skull once, and that was when it came out in theaters when I was young.
Same.
I mean, you should rewatch it, at least for the very minimum, to reaffirm what you don't like about that movie.
I liked it. Was it better than Meg 2? Hell no. Meg 2 was the best action movie I've seen this year.
And what kind of movie like diminishes your standards low enough for you to love Meg 2?
Did you not see what people are saying about Meg? Your mother, Reeves? Reeves' mother came up to me and told me that Meg 2 was one of the best movies she saw this year too. Corroborate that.
Yes, she said that. I will not. I will correct you. I will not corroborate you.
Yeah, it's Condor's mother.
It is so bad that it was hilarious to watch. She enjoyed watching it because it was so bad.
Though, she said that it was her favorite movie she watched this year.
Enjoyable is
this has been
enjoyable
a shit year.
is something
aside from
different.
Barbenheimer.
The Barbenheimer in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is a Spider-Man kind of inspired by the Spider-Man animation.
Yeah.
Derivative inspired by. You heard it here, folks. But also, that's what it looks like. All the advertising. It looks like a spin-off to Across the Spider-Verse, honestly.
In other news, has anyone watched the first episode of Loki? That was really good. I really heavily enjoyed it.
I haven't, but we haven't finished talking about Ahsoka yet.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
He doesn't believe in this product so much he wants to move off.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I'm on to the next. I'm excited for Loki. I'm invested.
That point right there, Cbass, is exactly what I felt from Ahsoka. It's very forgettable.
Yeah.
Aside from a very couple of scenes, so forgettable.
But I did enjoy the ride while I was in it. I enjoyed it.
Well, exactly. Consumable. It's Scorsese's argument. There are things that you just.
And here's
the members berries felt
it gives
so nice.
me the satisfaction in the moment.
This thought just came to my head. Going back to AI.
That's the whole argument, man. Thanks for saying that out loud.
That's why I love Marty so much.
Going back to the AI argument. Going back to the AI argument. The fact that Disney will not go all in on that because Hayden Christensen does not look 22 anymore. And that's,
what are you talking about? His cheeks are normal. They're normal.
But the fact that they're gonna go back and they're not gonna recast someone for Luke, but they're gonna put a CGI abomination over somebody else's face and then not de-age Hayden Christensen with AI.
I'm not gonna lie though. No one.
Shut up, Siri.
No one in their mother did not want to see Hayden Christensen. Like, no one has been unhappy about that.
No, I'm not unhappy.
Everybody is.
I'm not unhappy about seeing
He's
him.
making a valid point.
I'm more so confused.
And the reason that people forgive it is because of Cbass's point of view.
Yeah. So I'm more so confused.
It's the same thing with Obi-Wan.
They need to go. They just need to go all or nothing, baby. It's either recast and don't use any AI or de-aging technology, or use your AI and then also de-age the actors who need to look the appropriate age for when.
But the thing is, like, Hayden Christensen deserves and was owed this comeback, and I'm glad they gave it to him. He deserves it.
I'm not saying recast Hayden Christensen and then CG his face over. I'm saying de-age his face. He looks like he's in his 40s because he's in his 40s.
Hey, farming is hard work.
I mean, if you think about it, though, he kind of would be in his 40s during that time.
Ghosts don't age, man! Ghosts don't age!
I mean, that's never specified.
We need to have an extended universe novel explaining how Force Ghosts age.
Do you not?
It's the only way that Cbass will agree. This is devolving into the episode that we already had 18 times, even though we haven't recorded 18 episodes. So, Barney, what were your impressions of Ahsoka? Barney, to close us out, what were your impressions of this?
I didn't even get to say my
the
impression.
lightsabers were nice.
Same, dude. Same. The lightsabers were nice. All right. Yeah.
I liked the mini villain a little bit. It was nice. Thrawn was okay.
I'm curious what everyone thinks of Balin's last scene when he's standing on the mountain.
The Mortis arc.
It's okay, but here's the thing. That's not Mortis. That's not where he's going. I am horrified for what we might see coming next because it's some of the most scary Star Wars.
Darth Bane.
No. Darth Bane is long dead. Come on.
He's gonna revive a Force ghost.
No, he's not.
It's
Abeloth. It's friggin' Abeloth.
What Condor was saying, BILTH, basically, is that there's a father, a son, and a daughter.
And the Holy Spirit, of course.
The prophecy says that only the Chosen One can tame them, and so he telepathically calls out to Anakin, and Anakin comes and brings balance to the Force because he's the Chosen One.
BILTH looks really irritated with this conversation.
Oh, sorry.
It's been 20 minutes. I think it's time to move on.
It's been 16, but okay.
I'm totally cool with moving on. There has been another Disney show that just dropped, and it's...
Yeah. I'm excited.
I think it's better, but it could just be like my biases, or the actors just showing up for a day of work.
You didn't like it?
Damn. I loved it.
Oh.
I loved it. I thought it was expertly done, well acted.
I just really think the people that make that show...
I don't think they did a lot.
I mean, but it's first episode.
But think about what happened in the first episode for season 1.
It's the second season.
Politics? I haven't seen Loki season 2 yet, or I haven't seen the first episode.
It's just well done. Like the chemistry he has with Owen Wilson is very good.
I loved Owen Wilson in that first season. I haven't seen season 2 yet either, but I loved Owen Wilson, especially.
It's just more of the same. It's more of the same. Yeah, so far.
I just had a really grim thought. They're gonna bring that actor back with CGI, like they did with Carrie Fisher.
Balin.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
I don't like. I don't like.
Do you guys remember that episode of BoJack Horseman where he loses like the job playing Secretariat, but they already have a model of his body, so that's who plays Secretariat?
I mean, he didn't lose the job. He literally just left for New Mexico, and then for the rest of the shooting, he didn't show up, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we cast your CGI model. We finished the movie." And he's like, "What?"
As soon as I saw that episode for the first time, which was a long time ago, and I haven't rewatched it since, but that episode, I was like, that's happening. In my lifetime, that is totally happening, and that is totally something that actors need to be anxious about. And it totally happened within 10 years.
That's a Simpsons-level prediction.
Yes. Well, BoJack Horseman, especially those early seasons, is Simpsons-level satire. That's a very quality animated show. Although I didn't continue past the 3 seasons. I never finished it.
You never finished it?
No, it got me too down, man.
It is a very depressing show.
Did you see the article that came out today where Jason Momoa said, or it was said that during filming of Aquaman 2, Jason Momoa would show up drunk and dressed as Johnny Depp to try and get Amber Heard fired from the set.
This is in the Star Wars bin of things I don't want to talk about on this podcast.
Okay, all right, BILTH. What do you want to talk about?
What do you want to talk about, dude?
What's your topic of?
Yeah.
What's your preferred topic today?
What I want to talk about is a hypothetical. So, there's a trend going on recently in Japan predominantly, but it's getting more and more funding from higher and higher profile series. There's this trend of game companies sponsoring television dramas that are dramatizations of real human relationships over video games. So, for example, Square Enix funded a series about Final Fantasy XIV, which is an MMO. And the TV show is basically about a secretive relationship between a father who doesn't have much of a relationship with his son, and his like college-age son who plays the video game. His dad starts playing like secretly, and then they become, part of the same guild, and they start playing together, but he doesn't know it's his son, and then they bond in an all new way. And that's just one example. There's one recently announced from Pokemon about this woman she's got like a risky college, no, not college. She's working like a Tokyo job. She just moved to Tokyo. She's in her 20s, and she's got like a big report due, and she's real stressed. And her mom ends up sending her a care package that has her copy of like Pokemon Blue in it. And then, you know, she like starts playing Pokemon Blue as a way to like cope with the stresses and realities of adult life. And it's like an 8-episode live action miniseries that's coming out. It's officially sponsored by the Pokemon Company. That Final Fantasy XIV one officially sponsored by Square Enix. So hypothetically, if you were to pitch something in that genre, what would you want to pitch?
I can tell you what I wouldn't want to pitch.
All right, let's hear that first.
For the cringe factor alone, Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to.
Because I was a Kingdom Hearts kid. Please don't.
No.
Anyone's relationship with Kingdom Hearts would just be like, wait, what's up?
Question.
Yeah.
Clarifying?
Yes. Let's clarify.
All right. So, the series, would it have to be involved in the world, like Kingdom Hearts world, or
all world, right?
A real world experience revolved around that game?
Yes, it's a real world experience revolving around the game.
Got one.
So for example, Fortnite, like I can easily imagine some sort of Fortnite show that's focused on like a group of friends that play Fortnite, but it's also
where
sponsored
they make
by
a
Fortnite.
real life battle royale.
They actually try to kill each other in the parking lot.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I'll do Avatar for sure.
There's no need to do Avatar.
Well, yeah, but like, what specifically about the relationship between like a person and Avatar would make for compelling TV?
Well, considering Avatar is one of the greatest depictions of fighting fascism ever made.
Yeah. I was about to say the fight. I was going to say the fight against politics,
which I honestly think a lot of the reason why our generation holds the worldview of anti-fascism, who haven't been indoctrinated by fascistic parents, is because of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Because the message of Avatar: The Last Airbender really shines through on the young mind because it's very overt but very subliminal at the same time. Because watching Avatar as an adult is a way different experience from watching it as a child.
No, so two things. Number one, thought you were talking about the blue people.
No.
I said The Lost Airbender.
Yeah, I kept hearing Avatar, so blue people came in.
But the fact that your mind goes to the blue people first is sacrilegious.
It's really telling of your personality.
Yeah,
Michael.
it really. Yeah, that's a red flag in and itself.
Hey, he's a.
Are you guys hating
guy.
on Avatar? Are you guys hating on James Cam right now? My boy James Cam.
Oh, you mean his Dances with Wolves in Space adaptation?
It's like you're trying to tell me that Avatar is better than The Lost Airbender.
I'm not literally at all. You said Avatar one word too many times,
If we're talking about the Shyamalan version, yes, it is.
That's not even called Avatar. That's just called The Last
Airbender.
Because James Cameron already had the rights to a movie called Avatar.
By the way, for our generation, I do agree with Avatar having all of those things. That is true.
Yes.
It is a very complex tapestry for fan stories. So I could imagine something good coming out of that.
Yeah, that would be mine for sure. That's always like the first one that comes into my head, I think.
Do you got one, Condor?
I'm biased, but Yu-Gi-Oh. Because that's what Kazuki Takahashi's goal was when people started asking him, "Hey, what about this Duel Monsters game in your manga? Like, can we hear more about that?" And then he and Konami and Shonen Jump realized that they had something really big on their hands. And so Kazuki Takahashi, honestly, like, the message of Yu-Gi-Oh is making friends through playing games with one another. So the show is about that I mean, well, minus all the magical Egyptian stuff, and the magical powers, like minus all of that, like Yugi's wish on the Millennium Puzzle was he wanted to make friends, and the fact that Kazuki Takahashi's goal in making the Yu-Gi-Oh card game was to connect people and have people like make friends and like that, and that's the message of the show is friendship overcoming all. I think that would be a really good concept for a show. Like people,
that would be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And also, if it goes in line with like the philosophy of the creation of the thing, that is really cute. Well, actually, that's a nice segue to mine, because I was thinking about Pokemon, and I was thinking about how when it came out in the mid '90s, it was proposed by its creators as something to replace bug catching, because industrialization in the country had been harming the insect population, and their numbers were decreasing summer after summer. So in the summer, what used to be like a big tradition of bug collecting and like showing off to your friends and comparing collections and trading and stuff like that, those traditions started to go away as the world got more and more modernized. And Pokemon was meant to be a replacement of that relationship between school kids, but for, the future.
I don't know if you guys ever heard this, but when I grew up, there were a lot of families that restricted their kids from watching Pokemon because they thought there was a stereotype back in the day that it was demonic.
Yeah, well,
Yep.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that?
Well,
yeah.
And Harry Potter.
Barney and I growing up in the South, yeah, that was a big thing. Pokemon, Harry Potter, not allowed in a lot of
Harry
Christian
Potter.
households.
Like,
They hated
interesting.
Pokemon
Very
because they thought it was
interesting.
gambling.
No, that's not it.
Down where I was,
They
they banned the cards, they banned everything. It was not for like demonic images, it was because people were trying to like deal stuff.
For my area, I had a very close friend in childhood who said, I was like, oh yeah, this episode of Pokemon, Ash and Pikachu beat Brock and his Onix, even though Onix is a rock type and is not, it's resistant to electric. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, you don't watch Pokemon? He's like, no, my parents say that it's witchcraft and I'm not allowed to watch it. And I'm like, witchcraft? There's no magic involved, but
how do they fit in that ball, Condor?
A lot of pastors at the time, they would bring like the Pokemon guidebook catalog like for the card game, and they're like, look at this image, look at this. It's like the way the Pokemon card game is played is you summon your little demonic monsters and then you put these energies on them. And these demonic energies give them the ability to do battle. And this one, look at this. This is the lightning bolt. That is the Z of Satan, the Satan lightning. Yeah. And then this wind, it's the Wiccan witch symbol for wind and controlling plant life. That's Satan. And then look at this fire. That's the fires of hell that they're trying to represent. I'm like, and
I did have some mates growing up that were not allowed because of stuff like this. So I find that interesting. So now let's ask ourselves this: would Pokemon really be the one we would want to use this with BILTH's question? Because it does have negative correlation to it.
Well,
negative.
See, that's the interesting part is, like, I want to make it a period piece of childhood in the Japanese summer. So it wouldn't even be the Western reaction to Pokemon, which honestly was kind of unhinged at a lot of points. Like, we loved it and then we hated it and then we loved it again. It was really weird.
That was the Yu-Gi-Oh thing in my era as well. Was as kids, we didn't know how to play the game. We liked collecting the cards because the pictures looked cool, and it was fun to say, I attack you, Celtic Guardian, attack! Or Blue Eyes White Dragon, White Lightning! But we didn't really know how to play the game, and then it fell out of fashion from ages like 8 to 14. And then once my friend group got back into it, because I saw the show again, and I was like, whoa. I got back into it during the 5Ds era, and so I was like, whoa, this is actually pretty cool. And so I found all my old cards. I put together a deck of scrap, essentially. Not a scrap deck, but a deck that was trash, because scrap is an archetype in Yu-Gi-Oh! For those of you who don't know.
I did not.
Yeah. But basically, so it fell out of fashion with my friend group for like 6 years, and then we got back into it.
I can see that being in your miniseries. A guy getting out of Yu-Gi-Oh, but then he comes back and he's got shoeboxes in the garage, and the shoeboxes are full of Yu-Gi-Oh. And he's like, wow. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
But by the way, the Pokemon one, childhood in the summer, but it would mostly be about industrialization and things like Pokemon, like these digital experiences and digital entertainment in general. Being able to recreate these social experiences that we would otherwise be at risk of losing, and doing it in a way that, despite what PETA thinks, is actually, healthy. I think that's healthier than collecting bugs, is collecting
As someone
imaginary little insects.
As someone who doesn't respect PETA as an organization, yeah, cool. Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think they just think it encourages cockfighting, but it's like, bro, you're not going to dogfight, you're not going to cockfight when you got a Charizard that can like try to kill God.
Literally. Can my 5-pound Yorkie breathe fire? No. So
dude,
what the fuck
never.
is the point of sending him in to fight?
Yeah, get all of your dogfighting fantasies out here digitally, and then you won't do it in real life.
That's the violence in video games fallacy. Because I play GTA, that doesn't mean I'm going to go fucking rob my neighbor.
Exactly, but maybe you would if you weren't able to do it in GTA.
All that pent-up aggression, I can't just walk onto the streets of LA and start capping bitches,
Nah, dude, you gotta do it digitally. But yeah, it would be an 8-episode miniseries about industrialization and two boys that and a bunch of like people in their school that are like, oh wow, let's trade and become best friends. that kind of thing. Just a wholesome summer TV show.
That sounds really good. No, I would definitely watch that.
Mine is a person knows he's going to pass away from whatever illness and decides to recreate his likeness in artificial intelligence in Minecraft. And you can go visit him in Minecraft in his very own special world.
Whoa. Oh my god. Yeah. Wow. Microsoft needs to get on that, dude. Minecraft is probably the one that could go for like 1 billion seasons.
Yeah.
Or like at the end of it, like he has a choice to fight the Ender Dragon and or do something, but it at cost to his own creation.
Oh, it'll like delete his save file.
Okay, so like a hardcore run of Minecraft, but he'll actually die.
Yeah.
Yeah, he will no longer be on this earth once this game is gone.
And his friends got to come in to keep the AI going to like come and interact with him. Something. It's just still getting worked around. It's still kicking. I just thought of it tonight.
It's in the gestation period. Yeah, that sounds interesting. Dang, Minecraft. Yeah, and I feel like Minecraft could also be an anthology because there's so many different ways that like the real world and the Minecraft world interact. Like, this is one of my favorite news stories ever. Have you guys ever heard of that library replacement project that was started on Minecraft?
The virtual library?
Yes.
Yeah.
All of the
heard of
banned books. Once the South started getting a bunch of banned book bans en masse, they started. Sorry?
Genius.
Yeah, dude, they started
What a great
compiling
way.
banned literature and putting it in Minecraft and putting it in a like physical space that they built. So they built a digital library of Alexandria, and you could just go in there and read books that were banned in your territory, which if you live in certain countries is like a lot of books. So this is a way that countries with really restrictive internet could get access to literature that they wouldn't otherwise.
That's crazy. That's a lot of work. That means that they had to craft creative mode, whatever. But regardless, if they just spawn a book and quill into the game, that thing is blank. They have to type that shit out.
Whoa. That's crazy then.
Yeah, they have to physically get the transcript of the book. There's no copy paste. You have to physically type it into Minecraft for it to stick in the book.
Okay, that's
I mean,
insane.
that's,
I would
that's a lot
imagine.
of speed typers.
I would imagine they would hack it so that you could copy and paste somehow.
That's fair. I'm sure there's a mod somewhere that allows you to do
Yeah,
that.
well, if you guys want to read about this, it's very interesting. It's still going, and I believe they accept donations. They're like an actual organization.
Link in the description.
Yeah, link in the description. Yeah, check it out. But yeah, Barney, I would watch the ever-living crap out of that, and I feel like it could be on HBO. Although Microsoft would have to approve it, which... Did they approve anything?
How
TV?
about Microsoft? Netflix, hit me up. Somebody.
Yeah, Microsoft.
There's a lot more in
Email
here.
us 555.
Microsoft approved Halo.
Oh, that's right.
The Halo TV show, which, it was bad.
I mean,
Which-
the first one, I didn't mind the first one. Do you remember? Were you guys
Forward
around
Unto
for,
Dawn?
like- Huh?
Are you talking about Forward Unto Dawn?
No, I'm actually talking about Nightfall.
Oh, I did not see that one.
The one that was a part of like Halo 5 or whatever, and it released like episodically on Xbox Live if you had the game. Like you could go on to like Xbox and see the episodes.
Oh my god, that's so
I
interesting.
never. I watched.
But it
I
was
watched
about like a crash landing on an alien planet, and it turned out the aliens were like the big wormy guys that conjoined to make one gigantic.
The Flood.
No, not. I'm talking about Hunter or the guy in the armor, the big worms.
Oh, the.
Aren't they hunters? The one with the big green cannon.
Yeah. Those are hunters. Yes.
I don't know Halo vocabulary very well.
Grunts, brutes, elites, hunters.
Oh, I do know
Yeah.
grunts. They're hilarious.
Oh!
Just like, like little chihuahuas, alien
I like
chihuahua.
how they. I like how if they have their back against the wall, they just jihad themselves with the plasma grenades.
Maybe not. That's not the right word to use right now.
Sorry. Oh shit.
Things-
Oh
gonna
my
get us flagged.
god! We're gonna get canceled.
APC has been flagged.
Boom.
Well, yeah. I'm just saying.
You have
I
no
think
idea
so.
how much I've been having nightmares about the stuff that's
Oh.
going on in real life right now. Like, I had a nightmare last night that our sirens were going off and there was just like a flood of missiles just heading our way.
Oh my god, dude, me too.
Yeah, I had a nightmare about that last night.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about the generalized anxiety everybody's feeling right now?
Well, we could talk about it in an abstract way. What
Yeah.
world would you
Oh
want to
my
live in
God.
instead of this one?
If the world weren't on fire,
I would want to live on
Which Pokemon
Mustafa.
region would you vacation to get away from this?
Kanto!
Give me Johto.
Alola, baby.
Oh my god, you would.
I'm
pick
going to
something so
Alola,
obscure.
dude.
I
No
want
one can
beaches.
stop.
sun, sea, and sand, baby. I could tell you I wouldn't want to go to Unova because that's just the United States.
Why wouldn't you want to go to the New York City of Pokemon? That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Because I don't like New York City in real life.
Wow, BILTH is so offended.
Talk about one of the most
I'm-
depressing cities I've ever
I am
been in.
decently offended.
I'm sorry, Bilth, but I was.
It's all about your perspective.
I find
One of the greatest cities in the world, baby.
I find New York to be incredibly depressing.
Well, I won't argue with
depending on
you
which way
there.
look at it, it can be incredibly depressing.
Exactly. It is one of the most easily depressing places in the entire world, especially because much like Cbass's home place, it is always cloudy and it's really hard to get a proper amount of sun, so you get like so
The depressive
down
feelings.
so easily. In the winter, especially.
Our
Not in the
depression,
summers.
our depression rate in the UK, our suicide rate due to depression in the UK is at an all-time high, and
Well,
it
that's
breaks,
just because you guys
and it
suck at
breaks,
football.
and we keep breaking the record, our own record for that, like every year as the years go by. It gets worse and worse. So.
Oh no.
If you guys
Yeah.
did well in a World Cup, I imagine your depression would decrease by 60%.
Oh, man, well, whatever.
Yeah, just get messy on your
America's too
team.
divided to
Just
have
get
one
good,
team.
scrub.
We
What happened
have-
to
Get
Derek Hay?
good at being in the
we
sunlight,
have-
dude.
Who cares
Not
about
to-
sports? We have the best thespians out there, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
That's completely
you
true,
produce the best
honestly.
thespians because you're so damn depressed. If you
Yeah,
weren't so damn depressed,
We can all play sad boy characters so well.
you can all do it so well. Sad boy American characters, and that's the kicker.
Well, see,
You
that's
get,
why
so
they
you
all
get
come
so
from.
depressed you play American.
A bunch of good thespians also come from New York because they are also morbidly depressed. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I love New York. I love New York, but
unique New York.
Of course, I love New York because it's just another version of London, or New York is or London is another version of New York. Whatever you want to call it. I want to go
to London.
I think, but what I think London does that I kind of like a little bit, as opposed to New York, is London is a teeny bit more spread out, which is nice. It's a bit more...
Wait, hey, I have one question for you to back that up. Did you visit any other boroughs in the 5-borough city of New York other than Manhattan?
I went to Brooklyn. No, I think it was just them two, actually. I don't think I went anywhere else. I wanted to go to...
It's huge, man. It's very huge.
I wanted to go to Queens.
Yeah, that's the biggest one.
But my family didn't want to go. So...
I mean, what is there to do in Queens? Isn't it just the suburbs?
No, there's a lot in Queens. There's a lot of huge parks.
Yeah,
there's the Museum of the Moving Image, one of the best film museums and big IMAX screens in the country. By the way, I would also like to live in the Mario world, like that Mushroom Kingdom, because I want to be friends with Waluigi so bad, and I want to play golf with him.
You are Waluigi without the mustache.
You should have seen Bill's face when he couldn't enter into Mario World. At Halloween Horror Nights, he was so sad.
The Mushroom Kingdom was right there.
He was so close, yet so far away.
I was so close. I went down the pipe anyway, but it didn't go nowhere.
He could see He could see just the barely the insides of Peach's castle.
Did you not buy a wristband? Is that why you couldn't get in?
I think they had. It was a wristband that he didn't.
Barney had a wristband. Barney and all of his kin had a wristband,
but be honest, Barney. Be honest. It's quite small for what it is.
It's just being built, so they only
have. Well, that's to be expected.
Really
There's no room at that location.
It's just very congested.
It's mostly 90% shop and 1% or 10% ride.
But the thing is, what makes that one unique is that you get the live studio with it. You know, that's why.
Yeah.
The other ones don't have that. So. You get projects that are actually being filmed there every day, which is kind of cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. It's what makes it so Hollywood.
That it's actually Hollywood.
That it's actually Hollywood, and you know.
I would rather sacrifice a little bit more Hollywood if it gave me a little bit more ride.
You should go to Orlando. It's nothing but ride over there and zero Hollywood.
Yep. Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah. And then they have, and then that park still has those contracts with comic book Marvel, so you get the Hulk ride, you get the original comic book Spider-Man ride.
Okay, that ride is one of the best theme park attractions I have ever been on in my life, and apparently it's really old.
Same. So Universal has a contract, in the Universal in Florida, they have a contract with Marvel Comics, so you'll get like the rides. The Hulk ride, but it's like the comic book Hulk ride, you know, the old ones, and like.
And every 2 hours, there's a little show where they come out with ATVs and they do like vehicle stunts. And it's Captain America. It's the whole Avengers lineup.
It's the whole
they have the theme park.
But it's the comic book Avengers lineup.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so there's a Dr. Doom drop ride.
Feathers in his ear and all that. It's great. It is great. I do love it. And that Spider-Man ride, I agree, is one of the best rides ever.
It's like way too good for what it is. And that Hulk roller coaster is like the best roller coaster at the park. It's like, it's wild. They actually went all out with making a Marvel theme park land because that California Adventure theme park land.
It sucks. That Avengers campus is terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. Dude. It's so bad. It's so bad. I was so disappointed. The only thing that people go there for is so they can see Scarlet Witch. They can see Doctor Strange come out of the door, or they can just watch that stupid Spider-Man animatronic.
I saw that.
That fails. That fails half the time. That like malfunctions more than half the time. So
I think I had a toy like that when I was growing up, where you could sling this thing. And
I read
flippies.
I read because on Twitter they always like Marvel. Like these Marvel fan accounts always spit out random facts, and one of them said that they did the calculations, and that animatronic has not worked more than it's worked since they've opened it.
Really?
So it's been down more than it's been up.
Sounds
That's
like
interesting.
McDonald's ice cream machine.
Yeah, man. Yeah, especially when it hits 11:30 at night. Forget it. You are not getting a McFlurry here in LA past 10 p.m. McFlurries are non-existent in Los Angeles. So this is for anyone that's coming to LA. For anyone that's new to LA and coming to LA and you're craving a McFlurry at night and it's past
McDonald's
10,
is like a super disciplined parent.
forget it.
Stay out of the
even-
kitchen.
Don't
Los
even argue.
Angeles, the city where the ice cream sleeps, dude.
Yeah, quite literally. Forget it.
Oh shit.
Many a times have I been crushed by them telling me, "Oh, the ice cream machine isn't working."
It's not about the time though. It's just about the ice cream machine. They just break a lot.
I
Just like the
also
animatronic.
think they turn it off and clean it really early, and they don't want to turn it back on and re-clean it.
Ray
'Cause
Kroc
I-
turning over
Uh,
is great.
And I
I
understand
understand.
that, because who the fuck wants to spend all their night cleaning ice cream? I get that, but like,
Why don't we have
Chads.
more Dairy Queens in SoCal?
they have
Because-
one in the Burbank
That's a good
Mall.
question. There's
Wait,
one
there's
by my childhood home in Orange County, but not over here.
Remember when I brought up a while ago that you see just our evolution in technology, but then I was like, if you actually look at it, technology actually progresses very slowly. Very, very slowly. And this just goes to show Reeves or Condor's example of flying his car into the cubicle. Like, we are nowhere near that yet. And we claim to be this very technological savvy society, but we're really not. If you look at the 90s and you look at now, not that much has changed, to be quite honest. We've had smartphones now. Wow.
I mean, there's a lot that's changed. It's just less obvious than it used to be.
It's not fast though. It's not drastic. Look at Back to the Future. Look what they thought we were gonna do at this time in Back to the Future. Just
I mean,
the imagination
Okay,
wanders.
but guys,
Yeah.
we're able to replace human beings in film now with just scans
That
of
doesn't even
composite
seem that
images.
hard, to be honest.
No, it is. It's incredibly complicated, and the fact that we can do it right now and it's only getting better
No,
is
that's not
bad,
complicated.
but
Going to the
crazy.
moon is complicated.
Exactly. What are you talking about? No, it's not. Technologically, it was not nearly as fucking complicated as the things that a normal computer has to calculate every single day. Like, a calculator had the amount of computing power that it used to get to the moon.
Then we would just be going to the moon all the time, and we're not.
We did. We did it so much that we stopped. What are you talking about?
And then
We-
you guys haven't done it in decades now.
No, that's not true. We launched to the moon this decade.
No, I'm talking about taking people up there.
There were people. They went.
When?
it's scheduled to go. Hasn't gone yet.
Yeah, it hasn't gone
Oh, it
yet.
hasn't gone yet? Oh, that's
Yeah.
SpaceX.
We
Speaking
saw
of
this.
Elon.
In other news, we saw the SpaceX launch at idle hour. Everyone just stopped and watched it. We saw the rocket.
Wait, when?
Well,
You
yeah, but
left
dude,
already.
you sound
You
like
left.
a
You
reactionary.
left.
The only thing that makes you think that we have technological advancement is rockets going.
No, but I just think there's things that are difficult, and then there's things that are actually difficult.
Well, we have.
You don't
okay,
think-
so I think we have the capability to make this next gen, what we perceive as futuristic technology. We have the capability. We're just not doing it
Yeah, I also agree.
because
Exactly.
it's
That's
not
the
profitable for the people who are making it because they're only thinking of how do I profit from this.
It's until they can make these. So usually when we jump the next hurdle in technological evolution is
War.
when we can make the technology we're doing affordable.
War.
That's why electric cars took so long to come along. We had the capacity to do electric cars way back in the 90s and the 80s, but it was too expensive to create. It wasn't affordable back then. As it
HD
is
televisions as well.
But either way, I think, like I said, technological reform, like evolution, jumps whenever we make this technology that we figured out affordable.
Evolution
when-
jumps whenever there's a major war, and there might be one.
There
And
might
if
be
it
one.
is, we're gonna get some lateral movement. I'm not sure if it's gonna be a flying car, but we're gonna get a device that makes lateral movement much easier.
I will say we are going in the way of iRobot faster than we're going in the see the Jetsons.
Yeah.
Very digital, yes. It's mostly
I
digital
could
as
definitely
opposed to
see an
analog.
iRobot. I can see an iRobot being real in our lifetime, for sure.
Yeah, we'll have digitized cars and digitized the help
We're
faster than
almost
we will
there.
have like what Condor
Yeah.
was saying, coming up to our door in our little jetpacks or spaceships.
But see,
Well,
I'm
I think-
saying that type of technology is exacerbated by war. Like when war happens, then we get the different ways to move, the different ways to
Do you
get
know how we got
transported.
roads?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you know how we got roads?
Oh, was it war?
It was war.
there we
Eisenhower
go.
saw how quickly the German tanks were moving along the Autobahn. That's why the highway systems look the way that we do.
That's why the parkways exist. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
they're so big too, so you could fit those tanks.
Yep.
I think that AI will ever have like a Sunny from iRobot and Ultron from Avengers. No, I don't think though. In our lifetime, at least, I don't think that AI would ever be able to evolve with a mind of its own. Because that
I
just
don't
seems.
think you're giving AI enough credit.
Yeah, we're already there.
AI would have long been evolved if it had not been off for our limitations.
Yeah,
Well,
but
also-
it just AI's. You just.
It might not be a totally like.
Do you know what I'm
one-to-one
saying?
How you feel?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know why people would want an AI that is as sentient as we are. That doesn't make
mean-
sense to me.
There is so many stories about how doing that is bringing about the end of the world for a reason. Because once we do that, we give birth to a new life form. And once we give birth to a new life form, we are indeed completely liable to
We
get
have to be.
decimated through something that's not natural.
Yeah.
There is a simulation, and we're going to find out what it is in our lifetime.
We will
You
be
ever seen-
fuel. We will be the
speaking of,
Matrix.
Yeah,
Download
have you
our
guys heard of the film
consciousness into a computer and become an AI.
I was literally about to say that us downloading our consciousness, our conscious
you guys-
brain into an AI.
Have you guys seen the movie Transcendence starring Johnny Depp
Yes.
and Rebecca Hall?
No.
So
I've not.
honestly, underrated movie, and yeah, Johnny Depp and Rebecca Hall play a couple. The husband dies, but they're scientists, so he uploads his consciousness to a computer, and the film is about his AI uprising.
What's his name? That doctor.
I need to get out.
That
Yeah,
doctor
to get
does
out,
it.
to become
That
human.
doctor does it in Captain America. What's his name? He does
Zola.
the exact thing. Zola. That's Zola's arc right there. That's his whole arc. Transfers
Yeah.
his brain into that supercomputer, and then he's the one that controls all of Hydra, basically.
Well, right, but like AI, not just being able to interbreed with humans, but also what's their final form? Because Transcendence is about he's obsessed with becoming physical, and so many films are about the AI wanting to become physical. The Terminator is a physical AI form. What if they do become physical, and that becomes the new face of
I don't
Earth?
think.
That
I don't
is.
think the Transcendence wanted to become. I think he wanted to just have.
I want to touch his wife again.
Oh yeah. Never mind.
There's actually an old Swedish TV show that I watched where the television show's about AI, and it's actually about do you know about this, Michael? Where it's
Never
like
heard of it, no.
oh well, it's about actually like humans being AI. It's kind of like the Creator. They're robots, but they look almost exactly like humans, and how
Yeah.
that changes the way of life. Like, if you want to have like an AI girlfriend or an AI boyfriend, you can just go buy one from a store. You
What
know,
about that?
it's just stuff like that, and that was crazy. I recommend watching that show because that show does it really well.
I mean, that's
And it was-
already
it
a
was
thing.
pretty
Dating
insane.
Well,
dating
Blade-
sims
Blade
exist.
Runner.
What about Surrogate? Anybody see
Surrogates
Surrogate?
with Bruce Willis.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Exactly
I
that.
can-
Although
Not
that
having
that's,
AI take over fully. Just have enough control so it's you, but in an
Right.
AI shell.
that's the way that there will be assimilation. Maybe is that some AI are controlled remotely by real humans, but the real humans live in capsule hotels,
Yeah.
basically.
Who are like feeble, like
Yeah, and they get IV drips, and they
Well, it's
don't
like
eat.
the-
They just get some nutrients.
Well, it's like in Wall-E, how humanity just becomes
Yep.
like fat, useless, like slobs that can't move because
puddles
they're
of skin and bone.
their bones are barely there anymore because their bones have degenerated so much from not moving.
Yeah,
Space
Yeah.
travel is horrifying.
exactly.
Yep.
That's why I think that if they do go to space, they're equally doomed, which is why hopefully that's not the plan to just abandon ship like a lot of people jump to. Hopefully the plan is more just supplementary expansion because we're not going to be able to have a sustaining space colony for a while. Damn, this conversation has reached
even
some
if we
far
did
off
have
places.
a sustaining space colony, what would be to stop them to be like, well, fuck those planetary bastards,
And nuke
just
them.
space civil war,
Space
space
war.
war.
I want to touch back on the Jason Momoa thing really quickly. This is the article
What?
that I read. Just listen to this really quickly. Actor Jason Momoa allegedly showed up to the set of Aquaman 2 drunk and dressed like Johnny Depp and tried to get Amber Heard fired. Her former boyfriend Elon Musk sent a scorched earth letter threatening to burn the house down if she didn't get to return to the franchise. So Elon Musk wrote to the production company begging them, asking them to keep Amber Heard in the franchise. So he wrote to Warner Brothers, and they obviously listened to him, which is just disgusting. Why is Elon meddling in arts?
Oh
And
my
why
God.
Jason
does-
was
because
trying to meddle.
And why does he have power over the arts?
I don't like Amber.
They
At
have a
all.
relationship, and people with money have been in control of the mass media arts for as long as they've existed.
Jesus, does it take really just one letter Elon Musk says? Because he controls half the economy, so he could probably...
I already thought that like she finished filming her scenes and then they just cut her out of the movie.
That's what originally was said, but I guess that was just a rumor.
I think that was something that they were considering.
Yeah, and they probably, after receiving this very heated letter from Elon Musk, they were like,
just
oh,
gave her
sorry.
Should just
Well,
give
'cause
her
I
the
know that-
Spacey.
Warner Brothers is the same company that dropped Johnny Depp as well.
Yes.
He got replaced in.
But they're
Harry
begging for
Potter.
him
Mads
back now.
Mikkelsen.
They're begging for him back
No,
now.
they're not, man. No one's begging anything from those movies because no one cares or watches them.
They literally...
Disney
they
wants him back
literally-
for Pirates of the
Disney
Caribbean.
wants him back for Pirates.
Right, it's Disney.
But not for the
it's
Harry
not-
Potter.
Oh,
fans.
yeah.
It's
yeah,
not
sorry,
Harry
sorry.
Potter.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, I was thinking
Yeah,
about
Warner
Disney.
Brothers
I was
doesn't
thinking
give a
about
We were
shit
Disney.
talking about Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah, my bad. I was thinking about Disney. I was thinking about Disney. And I was
Although
thinking
even
about
with Pirates, I would prefer that they just reboot it as opposed to make it around. Jack Sparrow again.
No, I don't want to reboot
I don't want to
Pirates.
reboot it, but I wouldn't
Yeah.
mind a different story.
You know
in that
what I
world.
wouldn't mind? I wouldn't mind them adapting the young Jack Sparrow books into movies and then casting me as young Jack Sparrow.
That's such a you thing
I
to
love
say.
you, Condor.
I wouldn't mind that.
Don't touch that bridge.
I would like to see Pirates. I don't want to see a reboot because that just seems ridiculous.
Why?
But I
It's
would-
based on a theme park ride, and they made the original series way too convoluted. So if they just did the same thing that Haunted Mansion just did,
Are
where
you
they
trying
make
to
an
tell me that
original story
Pirates isn't
based on
good?
the theme-
I
Okay.
think if you...
Pirates 1 through
Our
3 is
flag
pretty
means
good,
death.
and then the rest of it is bad. What are you talking about?
He doesn't lie.
You're not wrong, but
Pirates 1 is exceptional. Pirates 2 and 3
You
are
could
pretty
see
good. and
someone
then
else playing Jack other than Johnny Depp.
I can't see Jack Sparrow continuing without Johnny Depp, which is why I think
No,
a reboot
I would
would be
like-
the best
I
way
would-
to go and
I would
introduce
like-
us to some cool new pirate characters played
I
by
would
new
like-
actors.
I could see that, but I would like to see a Will and Elizabeth story as well.
No,
Me too,
we
but they
don't.
could
We
be
don't
different
need to see a
characters,
Will and
man.
Elizabeth story.
Eh,
They are literally
No more. They're done.
the planks of. You want to see a movie about 2 planks of wood?
Hey,
I mean, I would
those are
like to see.
attractive
I would
actors.
like to see his adventures. I would like to see his adventures as the new Davy Jones, basically, as the captain of the Flying Dutchman.
Okay,
I would-
that
I would
would
like
be
to happen.
cool.
No,
Not really.
Not
no.
really.
No.
That would be cool if there was some sort of callback eventually or something, but I think a reboot with mostly new people would be the way to go with this. And then maybe Jack Sparrow shows up, or maybe he's mentioned, like, have you heard the legends about this dude?
I think it would be cool if he took his father's place as the keeper of the tome.
Oh, as the keeper of the code
Yeah,
of the book.
How's
Yeah.
Mom?
How's mom? And then he holds up a picture of Zoe Saldana's character because they eventually get married down the road. The one that always
was
slaps
that?
him.
She's good.
Was that
Would
Zoe
he not
Saldana?
get
I don't remember
Would he
this.
not get married to Penelope Cruz's character? I know he marooned her, but she's immortal, so she's fine.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't really like that romance, and it made no sense to me.
Yeah, it
I
didn't.
don't know
Well, that's because that
nothing
movie's
past
bad.
the third.
But
I didn't retain
tried to
anything
call-
past the third.
They tried to call back to a
about-
romance they used to have, and she never showed up in any of the other films, so it held like zero emotional weight to it. I did not give a shit about Penelope Cruz's character
Yeah.
in that film. I gave
Sure.
zero. Yeah, I agree with BILTH though, and Condor and just Bonnie. Like the anything past the third film is rubbish in my opinion as well.
Garbage. Throw it away.
Yeah.
Burn it.
That would be a reboot situation.
The
for
only
me, Lance.
the only thing I think is redeeming is maybe the last film because Jeffrey Rush is so good as Barbossa. I'm always down to watch Barbossa because I think he's amazing as Barbossa.
He's great, but
Yeah.
with Disney roles, I see the same thing that I see with long-running sitcoms, where a character that originally the performance had a spark. I'm thinking Jim Parsons as Sheldon in The Big Bang Theory. Kind of dulls with time to the point where you can tell what they're doing and they're always reliable and they're very consistent, and then the spark of the performance goes away. I think that Disney is guiltiest as a company of doing that on the mass scale with films, because Jeffrey Rush is amazing and he brings it every time, but other actors like Robert Downey Jr., controversial maybe, Robert Downey Jr. got like, he peaked in that first phase of the MCU, and then his performance
I would
got
say
increasingly
his
dull.
performances got real dull at
Yeah, but
Iron
it's
Man
because
3.
Yeah.
how can you have the energy to play the character for that long? You know, even RDJ was like,
Homecoming.
Really?
I thought he had
Again?
classic RDJ vibes. I
You
thought
know?
Homecoming
Yes.
was very classic RDJ.
It came back in spurts. Endgame
yeah,
had
but
some
like,
really
but
good
like,
moments as well.
I feel for him. It's like coming back for another movie, playing himself, basically, like the same character again. It's like what?
I'm not blaming him. I'm just stating
Yeah.
a fact that I've observed.
Yeah, like what other like it would be hard as an actor. I think it would be hard to bring something new to that role somehow. That's why Chris Hemsworth lobbied so hard to change Thor. His character completely from Thor 2 to Thor 3 because he was just so bored and he couldn't think of anything else to bring the character, like to make the character more interesting. Until Taika Waititi came along, he was like, well, what if we just switch his character completely? Like, let's make him comedic. And then Chris Hemsworth, obviously that appealed to him because it was something fresh and something new. I think RDJ, by the time, I don't know, maybe like Civil War came along, or even before that, maybe Age of Ultron, he was like, God,
I was
Yeah,
definitely
that's-
around
that's-
there.
I'm done playing this. Yeah.
I could see it age.
And then it came back a little bit in Endgame, but that's because they killed his
It was
character
ending.
off.
Yeah, it
so
was
that
ending.
made it interest. That made his character interesting, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna die." Like, I could show like the side of Tony where it's like the full circle moment where he began as like a selfish person, and then he's actually the one that sacrifices his life for everyone. So it's like, yeah, I agree. Like he was like, that's, yeah, no one wants to see. Chris Evans also, you know, he's so vocal about being so apprehensive at taking that Cap role because he didn't want to be contractually obligated to 8 fucking films. Imagine, that's how many years of your life is 8 films. That's a long fucking time.
Okay, but that's what I'm talking
It's-
about. Disney's
yeah.
culture is dependent upon recurring characters.
Yes.
And the humans become extensions of the IP. And
No, the
then
humans
they
become property.
trapped.
They become property.
Yeah, so like Tom
Yeah.
Holland having all of these like interesting career reservations that it seems like he has all makes sense because it seems like he's trying to keep up with the machine and everything, and he's not the only example. Chris Hemsworth straight up retired.
But the thing is, he's very vocal about saying that he loves playing Spider-Man.
No,
like,
I'm not saying he doesn't.
Will
I'm
play
not saying
it-
he doesn't. I'm
he
saying
will
the
play
situation.
it until they tell him not to play it anymore. He said.
I know, but I'm saying that Disney has this culture of putting actors in this situation on a scale that's never been done before. It used to be interesting if an actor portrayed Batman twice in 2 movies in a row, let alone 3 like Christian Bale did, let alone however many Batfleck ended up doing. And
Well,
it just
think
keeps
of it
getting
this
bigger
way.
and bigger.
Don Cheadle, when they were recasting Rhodey, they said, hey, we want to cast you, but the contract is for like 6 films. And he was like, what? And they're like, you have 2 hours to decide.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm about to go to a birthday party, man.
Yeah.
What? I have
know.
2 hours to decide on 6 movies? That's a huge commitment.
I know Elizabeth Olsen as well in interviews has said that she was very, very apprehensive about being part of the Marvel engine because at this point, she had heard about what they do over there and how they like tie people down for years, where you have to, you're basically at Disney's beck and call, like all the other actors were, and she was super apprehensive about it, and she actually negotiated her contract down and said, I will only do this if I'm contracted at 2 films at a time. If by like each second film I don't want to do this anymore, I don't want to come back. So she actually made a stand. She made a stand and she was like, you're not about to tie me in for 8 films, 6 films. That's 20 odd years of my life down the road that you're about to lock down in a contract. No.
Well, and just the basic reality of signing up for like, 7 scripts that you've never gotten to read. Is insane.
Exactly. And that's why she hates multiverse. She openly shits on Multiverse of Madness on that movie. Because she was like, while we were filming, that script was being changed all the time. She didn't understand the script when she read it, that she needed to have someone explain it to her because she thought it was so confusing. She talks about this in Hot Ones as well. Like,
it's a very video gamey story.
I hate that movie. Don't even get me started on that movie. I hate that movie so much.
Yeah,
I waited for it to come out.
Out of time. We are out of time.
Oh.
Everyone,
any closing thoughts?
We don't really have a closing segment because I have to go. So
no,
we are out of time.
We're at the 95, almost 96 minute mark. I have been the Omega Condor.
Oh, I've been Barney.
I've been
Cbass.
And I've been the BILTH.
And this has been another episode of the Audio Program Council. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for watching if you're on YouTube. Check us out on Spotify as well if you have Spotify. Watch me at the Omega Condor, youtube.com/the Omega Condor. Cbass at twitch.tv/Cbass_118. BILTH on Twitter at something pistachio.
Payless Pistachio, baby.
Payless Pistachio. And Barney
you find me
is here.
You find me here.
Also, you find me here, basically. Twitter is dead. Elon Musk bought it. It's terrible. The only people I follow now are like weird right-wing types that say cool things about philosophy, but then they talk about the real world, and I'm like, uh-oh. But yeah.
You're not on, like, Kick, are you?
All right. Good night, everyone.